We warn you first with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
Good morning, everybody. We've got a very muggy start to the day. You can kind of see some pretty high humidity here showing up on the tower cam. A little bit of some high-level halos going on right now across those lights. You can see they're a little bit bigger than normal, but also those clouds are reflecting a lot of that light down to the surface. Thanks to the West Texas State Bank Weather Cam, we've got a good live look at those conditions, and those conditions are a little bit cooler than what we have been seeing the past couple of days. We're down 10 degrees now over this time yesterday for Odessa Midland, down 13 for Hobbs. That's actually some pretty good news because even though it's a little chilly right now, it means that we've got less heat, and heat is energy. So with these rain chances that are going to be coming our way, developing as early as about 1 p.m. and lasting even through the evening, because we're not dealing with as much energy for the atmosphere to draw on, we're not looking at super strong storms. We still have a chance for some severe weather today, and we still have some pretty chilly conditions. 57 degrees will be our high temperature today, but generally what we're going to be seeing, especially across the basin, is a lot of showers with a couple thunderstorms mixed in there. Maybe some small hail mixed in, maybe some strong winds as well. But right now, we're not looking at any thunderstorms. We're just looking at some light showers tracking towards Highway 285 and along the I-10 corridor right around the split. So do watch out for that if you're driving through there. You could run into a couple of puddles, but I really don't estimate too much in the way of any flooding concerns just yet. We've still got a little bit of shower activity phasing out there, developing in Glasscock County, tracking off to the north and east, but staying generally south of Big Spring and south of I-10. We're not really looking at a whole lot of rainfall either. Not for Brewster County, though. I have been keeping my eyes on that area just because we've got a little more energy out that way. Now, for most of us, we're just looking at a ton of cloud cover right now, and switching over to the model, doing a pretty good job at picking up on that cloud cover, but also showing some of that rainfall south of I-10 that's not really getting picked up in the real-time radar. Now, going forward, that means that we don't have a hugely accurate look at where these storms are going to be developing. This model now showing most of that over the parts of the northern Trans-Pecos, but we were looking at some thunderstorms developing in the northern basin by around 2 p.m. on previous runs of the model. So either way, what that means is we could be looking at some pretty widespread showers. Again, maybe 1 or 2 thunderstorms popping up there. If we do see a thunderstorm, it'll track off to the north and east like you saw that rainfall moving just there. Rainfall colors showing up as those oranges, those reds, indicating some pretty modest rainfall if we do get a thunderstorm overhead. Going into the overnight hours, we're still looking at some pretty scattered, pretty isolated showers and maybe a thunderstorm or 2 developing. Now, once we get to tomorrow morning, then we'll start to see a little more energy make its way through, a little more organization to those thunderstorms. And as we get to tomorrow evening, that's when we see this big line of storms tracking through. Now, that is going to be a very strong line of storms. We're talking about some pretty modest-sized hail, some pretty strong winds, and of course, a lot of rainfall in that thin band. Now, as that tracks off to the east, it's going to intensify, which is actually good news for us here in West Texas. It means we've got a very short runway for that storm activity to increase its potential and increase its energy levels, but it is also bad news for places like Dallas and the eastern part of the state because of that runway effect. It's going to continually ramp up as it tracks off to the east, eventually getting to be pretty strong. Now, here in West Texas today, we're looking at some pretty cool temperatures for the most part. Thunderstorm chances very high for today and tomorrow. We're likely to see a couple of those thunderstorms here in West Texas, but as far as rain totals go, we're not really looking at a whole lot of that rainfall. Now, by 1 p.m., that's when we start to see that rain really ramping up. So a couple of light showers until then, maybe, if anything. But as we get to the overnight hours and by 1 a.m., notice rainfall totals up to about 3/4 of an inch. And that's about the high side that we can expect. Anywhere between 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch is going to be typical. From there, we pick up another 3/4 of an inch by 12 noon tomorrow, and that's before that line of thunderstorms comes through. Now, tomorrow, we're looking at some pretty good severe activity. Today, however, only a marginal risk outlined in that greenish color. Not looking at a whole lot of thunderstorm activity. Most of that's going to be set up off to our west. But tomorrow, going forward into the week, we do have that slight risk outlined in the yellow color, 1 stage up over the marginal risk and generally taking up almost our entire viewing area. So we've got a very high likelihood of some severe weather tomorrow evening. Until we get there, we've got a lot of showers developing today, possibly a thunderstorm or 2 mixed in there. 57 will be our high today, 68 tomorrow. More heat for those thunderstorms to draw on, really increasing the size of the hail and the strong winds. Wednesday, we've got about a 70% chance to see that rain lingering on in the morning hours, and then we'll finally clear out by Thursday. Temperatures dropping all the way down to 55 by Friday.